Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Paradari Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nama Om Vishnupada Krishna Vastai Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasitade Shatarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gauravata Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right. Hare Krishna. If you're new here, my name is Dan. I'm a former monk, and I help people become more Krishna conscious. Only receptive people. You can only help people that are receptive. You can't help unreceptive people in anything. Okay, Bhagavad-Gita As It Is. We are on text 27. Yeah, text 27. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. Text 28, Arjuna Uvacha, Drisve Mam Swajanam Krishna, Yutsum Samupastitam, Siddhanti Mama Gatrani Mukam Cha Parishushayati. Arjuna, translation, Arjuna, Uvacha said, Drisva, after seeing, Imam, all these, Swajanam, kinsman, Krishna, O Krishna, Yutsum, all in fighting spirit, Samu Pastitam, all present, Siddhanti, quivering, Mama, my, Gatranti, limbs of the body, Mukam, mouth, Cha also, Parushyati, drying up. Translation. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them, who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And so, thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth began to dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although he is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but when he was also crying out, but that he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore, Yasyati Bhaktir Bhagavat Yakinchana Savir Gunas Chatra Samaste Sura Harav Abak Tasya Kuto Mahad Guna Manora Tena Sati Davato Bahi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Yeah, most people they're attracted by this material world, but they're not attracted to Krishna. That's the problem. Because if you're attracted to this material world so much, you're going to have to stay here, and then you're going to have to deal with birth, death, old age, and disease over and over again. It's not a very smart decision, really. Like if you looked at it objectively, would you rather, suffer, or would you rather experience eternal bliss? I mean, just objectively speaking. Come on. Text 29. Vapa tush cha sharire me rama harshas cha jayate Gandibam samsate hastat chaiva parada yate. Vapatu, trembling of the body, cha also sharire, on the body, me, my. Roma harsha, standing of hair on end, cha also jayate is taking place. Gandivam, the bow of Arjuna, shram sate is slipping, hastat, from the hands. Chwak, skin, cha also eva, certainly. Praridayate, burning. Translation. My whole body is trembling and my hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. To be continued. Okay. Let's read from Srimad Bhagavatam. Ki Jai. Purport. Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 36, purport. An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. Formerly, battles were fought on the principles of religion and not for the sake of sense gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on religious principles, free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence. So he says, the selfish whims of political leaders. So Srila Prabhupada is hinting that these wars that are started are based on the selfish whims of political leaders. Text 37, Swa pranan ya para pranai prapushnat ya grina kala tadvaras tasyahi shreyo yadoshad yat yada pumam. Translation. Swapatran, one's own life. Ya, one who para pranai, at the cost of others' lives. Prapushnati, maintains properly. Agrina, shameless. Kala, wretched. Twa, tadvada, killing of him. Tasya, his. He, certainly. Shreya, well-being. Yat, by which. Doshat, by the faults. Yati goes, ada, downwards. Punam, a person. Translation. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being, otherwise he will go down by his own actions. Purport. A life for a life is just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of another's life. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. That a murderer is condemned to a death sentence by the state is good for the culprit because in his next life he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. So that's capital punishment, right? Corporal punishment. So Srila Prabhupada, and I guess the scriptures are in favor of corporal punishment, eye for an eye, right? So it's good for even the murderer, like for corporal, like if he was put to death, that means he doesn't have to suffer in the future. He deals with this karma right away. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him, and it's said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principle of life for a life are purified of all their sins. So, yeah, corporal punishment is approved by the Shastra. So much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planets of heaven. Even they can go to heaven. According to Manu, the great author of civic codes and religious principles, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer. Oof, that's heavy. Even a killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer because animal food is never meant for the civilized man. Yeah, you don't need to eat animal food. You don't need to eat animals. I've been a vegetarian for like 25 years, and I do hundreds of push-ups every day. I exercise a lot. I'm pretty fit, so you don't need to eat animals. So it's considered murder. It's never meant. So the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer because animal food is never meant for the civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. Your prime duty, your number one duty, is to prepare yourself to go back to Godhead. Are you doing that? Are you preparing yourself in any way to go back to Godhead? I am by hearing and chanting right now. He says that in the act of killing an animal, there is a regular conspiracy by the party of sinners, and all of them are liable to be punished as murderers, exactly like a party of conspirators who kill a human being combinedly. So anyone who's involved in meat eating, they're involved in murder. Okay? The people that sell the meat, everyone who's involved in like an animal, killing, like eating an animal, they're all involved in murder. Okay? The person that kills the animal, the person that sells the animal, the person that eats the animal, they're all involved. Just like if you kill somebody, right, you're an accomplice. So that's heavy. That should, people need to understand this. People don't understand this. They think they can just do whatever they want and there's no consequences. Like a lot of people think they can just do whatever they want and there's no consequences. That's not how life works. For every action, there's a reaction. He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. Oof. Oof. Heavy, heavy, heavy. No one can create a living being despite all advancement of material science, and therefore no one has the right to kill a living being by one's independent whims. Nobody has the right to kill any living being, anything. You don't have the right to do that because you didn't create that. You didn't create that. So you don't have the right to do that. For the animal eaters, the scriptures have sanctioned restricted animal sacrifices only, and such sanctions are there just to restrict the opening of slaughterhouses and not to encourage animal killing. People are committing murder every freaking day by killing animals, and it's all around the world. The procedure under which animal sacrifice is allowed in the scripture is good both for the animal sacrificed and the animal eaters. It is good for the animal in the sense that the sacrificed animal is at once promoted to the human form of life after being sacrificed at the altar, and the animal eater is saved from grossest types of sin, eating meats supplied by organized slaughterhouses, which are ghastly places for breeding all kinds of material afflictions to society, country, and the people in general. So this is Prabhupada talking about the reality of slaughterhouses. Eating meats supplied by organized slaughterhouses, which are ghastly places for breeding all kinds of material afflictions to society, country, and the people in general. These slaughterhouses are disgusting, man. It's evil. It's pure evil. The material world is itself a place full of anxieties, and by encouraging animal slaughter, the whole atmosphere becomes polluted more and more by war, pestilence, famine, and many other unwanted calamities because of this animal killing, right? Just look at COVID. Look at the pandemic. They say it came from a market. That's what they say. That's what they say. COVID, the pandemic, it came from where? A market where they're slaughtering animals, right? It came from that pandemic, everything. So war, pestilence, famine, and many other unwanted calamities are a result of animal slaughterhouses, murdering animals. There you go, society. But of course, people don't want to listen to this. People have cognitive dissonance, right? Like they say they love animals, they have pets, they say they love animals, and then they eat animals. That's called cognitive dissonance. When you say you love an animal, but then you eat it. It's crazy. But that's how society is. It's crazy. It's nuts. Pratish Pratishrutam cha babata. Text 38. Pratishrutam cha babata. Panchalye shrinbato mama. Aharishye shirastasya yaste mamani putraha. Pratishrutam, it is promised, cha and babata, by you, Panchale, unto the daughter of the king of Panchala, Draupadi, Shrinbata, which has heard, mama, by me personally, Aharishye, must I bring Shira, the head Tasya of him, Yahum te your Manine, consider Putraha, the killer of your sons. Translation. Furthermore, I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killer of her sons. All right, Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Now let's read from Krishna book. Okay, we're continuing on. When he descends, it is just for his transcendental pleasure. There cannot be any other reason for his appearance. Our dear Lord, you are appearing as the best of the Yadu dynasty, and we are offering our respectful, humble obeisances unto your lotus feet. Before this appearance, you also appeared as the fish incarnation, as the horse incarnation, as the tortoise incarnation, and as the half-man, half-lion incarnation, as the boar incarnation, as the swan incarnation, as King Ramachandra, as Parshuram, and as many other incarnations. You appeared just to protect the devotees, and we request you, in your present appearance as a Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, to give us similar protection all over the three worlds and remove all obstacles for the peaceful execution of our lives. Dear Mother Devaki, within your womb is the Personality of Godhead, appearing along with all his plenary expansions. He is the original Personality of Godhead, appearing for our welfare. Therefore, you should not be afraid of your brother, the King of Bhoja. Your son, Lord Krishna, who is the original Personality of Godhead, will appear for the protection of the pious Yadu dynasty. The Lord is appearing not alone, but accompanied by his immediate plenary portion, Baladev. Devaki was very much afraid of her brother Kamsa, because he had already killed so many of her children. So she was very anxious about Krishna. In the Vishnu Puran, it is said that in order to pacify Devaki, all the demigods, along with their wives, used to visit her to encourage her not to be afraid that her son would be killed by Kamsa. Krishna, who was within her womb, was to appear not only to diminish the burden of the world, but specifically to protect the interests of the Yadu dynasty and certainly to protect Devaki and Vasudeva. It is understood that Krishna had been transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki and from there to her womb. Thus, Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was worshipable for all the demigods. After thus worshipping the transcendental form of the Lord, all the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva placed in front departed for their heavenly abodes. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second chapter of Krishna, prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. Chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord says that his appearance, birth, and activities are all transcendental, and that one who understands them factually becomes immediately eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. So if you understand that Krishna is God, and all these are, like, if you understand that, then you're eligible to go back to the spiritual world. The Lord's appearance or birth is not like that of an ordinary man who is forced to accept a material body according to his past deeds. Yeah, see, Krishna, God, can come and go as he pleases to this world, but we're forced to take birth. Did you have a choice? Did you decide, like, yeah, I want to take birth? No, you didn't have a choice. You were forced. The Lord's appearance is explained in the second chapter. He appears out of his own sweet pleasure. When the time was mature for the appearance of the Lord, the constellations became very auspicious. The astrological influence of the star known as Rohini was predominant. This star is considered to be very auspicious and is under the direct supervision of Brahma. According to the astrological conclusion, besides the proper situation of the stars, there are auspicious and inauspicious moments due to the different situations of the different planetary systems. At the time of Krishna's birth, the planetary systems were automatically adjusted so that everything became auspicious. At the time, in all directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. There were auspicious stars visible in the sky and on the surface of the earth, in all the towns and villages and pasturing grounds, and within the minds of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing full of waters, and lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers, auspicious signs of Krishna's birth. Okay, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhatta Vrinda. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Gora Hari. Jai Sachinandana, Gora Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Radhe Radhe, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe, Shama Sundar Radhe. Radhe Radhe Shama Sundar Radhe, Radhe Shama Sundar, Radhe Shama Sundar, Jayananda Yashoda Dula, Girivardhari Gopal, Jayananda Yashoda Dula, Girivardhari Gopal, 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 Radha, 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 Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Muna Devi, Jaya Shri Vrindavan Dham, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Sham. Hare Krishna. Gauranga Nityananda.